And Bafana Bafana coach Hugo Bruce has praised his players for showing a high-quality performance and good mentality when they thrashed Congo Brazzaville 5-0 in their AFCON qualifier in Gqeberha last night. South Africa now joint leaders in Group K alongside Uganda, who also have 7 points. But Uganda, who also won last night, are top of the group on head-to-head after playing to a 2-2 draw against Bafana Bafana at the Orlando Stadium last month. And to help us look back at the performance against Congo and look ahead to the return leg is the former Bafana Bafana defender Morgan Gould. There he is there. Is he wearing a Morgan Gould cap? Is that a Morgan Gould cap, Morgan? Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to everybody. And yeah, it's always me and my apparel. I always wear my apparel everywhere I go.
Wonderful. We'll love to see it, and we'll love it for you, Morgan. But the Bafana coach, he said he has no complaints at all after that performance last night. Do you agree with him? Was that close to a perfect performance?
Yeah, most definitely. Firstly, I'm very excited for the guys. Very excited to see Hugo Broos actually singing the praises of the guys. Far too many times where your national team and your players do the utmost and we still get lambasted in one way or the other by the coaches or the technical team. But I'm happy for Hugo Bruce. The guys come to the party. They demolished, or for lack of a better word, they smashed them out of the park. I think they fought for each and every inch on that field. And what better way to do it for the Bafana Bafana captain and to do it in his backyard. Brilliant.
Yeah. You talk about Hugo Broos. How has he managed to get it right with this team and the fact that we are seeing consistency now with Bafana Bafana?
Look, it's what he's saying. I don't know what he's saying. Whatever he's whispering into the guys' ears, and the amount of respect that they have for him, because he's worked with a lot of different top African nations, and he's got so much experience and is sharing it with the guys, and the guys are believing in themselves and they're believing in the process. It's a huge process for them to get to Africa's #1, which I believe sooner rather than later we're going to start becoming Africa's #1, and we're going to tackle the world with what we have. Yesterday's game was just one of those games that just displayed what we are capable of and what potential lies ahead of us in the new generation and the new breed of Bafana players. Wow, so many players that could make the team that was not there. Spelele was not there, Jaden Adams, but the guys that came in, stepped up. The levels are definitely high.
Talking about those levels, one of those is Teboho Mokoena. Is at limited game time at club level, but it seems like it hasn't affected him at Bafana Bafana. Once again, showing his quality there, Morgan, eh?
Class. His form wasn't bad. His class is they say form is temporary, but class forever. This boy's form is out of this world. He's a classy player. He's a player for the big moment. He's got BMT alongside with most of the teammates in the Bafana Bafana team. They've got a lot of BMT, and you can see that given any team in front of them and them in the right frame of mind, they could beat any team in the world.
But the coach has expressed concerns, though, that if it continues that he doesn't get game time at his club, it might affect his Bafana Bafana chances. Do you see that happening also? Do you understand where the coach is coming from?
Yeah, definitely. I think as a leader and as someone that has achieved so much, he's come to see these things in the past where the player does not get much game time, but he gets to play in his national team. And it affects him because he's going to obviously be trying his level best to get up to speed with the fellow teammates, and that could be a stumbling block for us. And if Teboho doesn't get much game time at club level, it's going to hamper his chances of even being in the national team. And I like that. That's fairness. That's something that world football is about. If you're not playing at your club level, how can you play for your national team?
Okay, let's talk about Themba Zwane, though. 50th cap for him, 10 years after his debut. He might not be grabbing the headlines because he didn't get a goal last night, but how good was he and how good has he been since Hugo Bruce finally picked him for Bafana Bafana?
Listen, there was talks of him, his legs are gone, he can't make it in AFCON, he didn't have a good start, opener. I don't know, I can't remember exactly the game that he had, the first game that we played in AFCON. Listen, that guy is something else. We'll never ever see a player like Themba Zwane. And I had the opportunity to play against him, and what a humble soul. I think it's just a little bit too late for him now to say that he'll play the next World Cup. But I do definitely want to see him, just don the jersey of Bafana Bafana. And what he's doing at his age, phenomenal. It goes without saying, he's one of the best players. And for me, I regard him as a legend, because when he gets onto the field, everybody, the kids of today, the seniors that have played with him or watch him play, past and present, actually marvel. And every time that he touches the ball, every time he's on the field, he's something else. He's phenomenal.
And we cannot talk about the defense when we have you, Morgan Gould. They must also be happy with the clean sheet, especially because the team had been conceding goals recently, which is uncharacteristic of this Bafana team. So you must have been pleased with the clean sheet. But the coach said in the week that they're going to try and defend differently now. Did you see any of that yesterday in Gqeberha?
Look, credit must go to the guys. Firstly, they did a phenomenal job. I think the game against Uganda was a wake-up call. They got it early. They saw their blunders. They fixed it up. The game of football is a teacher, and they learned their lesson. They went back to the drawing boards. What the current Bafana Bafana is doing right now, they're taking lessons that the games that they just played and taking that information, that data, and using it into the next game. And for me, these crop of players are doing something so special. Like if you look at just Aubrey Mudivas, if you look at Dutli, Kekana, even Gezana himself, take nothing away from the players that then you have class on the side. You have Mudau, not only that, you have Tebogo Mokoena in front of them. That's and the guy in the goals, the captain, the man of the moment. And I want to take you back. There's a game that Ronan was playing, Bafana Bafana. I don't know if it was his first game. He got 5 goals past him, Brazil. He comes back in his own backyard. 10 years later, he makes sure he keeps a clean sheet. They score 5. What a memorable moment. For me, people take it for granted that, and I had the pleasures of speaking to him after that game, where I told him, listen, it's football. This is a stepping stone for you. You can only get better and you can only get stronger. Look now, he's a nominee for one of the greatest awards. It just, I'm even having goosebumps right now speaking about him, because I know where it started for him. And he even said to me, the 5 that they put past me, this is only the start. The world is about to see me, and look what he's doing. Phenomenal things. My hat must go off to him and his resilience, his belief in continuing trying to be the best version of himself and helping everybody around him. And it goes without saying, he helped my career. So hat must go off to him. Ronwen always used to say, 1 is 1, even in Hong Kong. Number 1 is number 1, and clearly he's number 1.
And it shows us there are no shortcuts in football. Thanks, Morgan. Definitely. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Always great hearing you on SABC Radio and SABC TV. Keep well.
Thank you so much, and it's always an honor and a pleasure. Stay well till we meet again, my brother.
Legend of the South African game, Morgan Gould there.